Oh, hello. My name is Sandra Steingraber. I'm speaking to you from New York. I'm a PhD biologist who works as a senior scientist for the Science and Environmental Health Network, and I'm a co-founder of Concerned Health Professionals of New York. Our group started 10 years ago when fracking was proposed for New York State, and our governor needed to make a decision whether to permit fracking or prohibit fracking. And we scientists began to compile the medical and scientific findings on the risks and harms of fracking into a compendium. At the same time, our State Department of Health also began to officially review the evidence for harm. Both groups asked two questions. First, is fracking harmful to public health and the climate? And second, if so, can we devise rules and regulations that would make it more safe, or are the dangers unavoidable? In December 2014, both groups, the government scientists plus us independent scientists, reached the same conclusion, namely fracking injuries to health of the people who live nearby, both because of water pollution and air pollution, are real, and the current technology cannot make it safe enough to allow fracking in New York. And so the governor decided to ban fracking. At that time, there were 400 studies in the peer-reviewed scientific literature showing harm. And now there are 2,500 such studies. So we have now 6 times as much evidence available to the people of Colombia as we New Yorkers had 10 years ago when we made our decision to ban fracking. And those more than 2,000 studies show that our governor made the right decision. And as Colombia studies fracking, we scientists here in New York hope that our ongoing research will be helpful to you. Since our own fracking ban, we have continued to update our fracking science compendium each year because so many nations are wondering what to do about fracking. Our compendium used to be 65 pages long, and now it is more than 500 pages long. And I want to share with you some of the findings which have been strengthened by more data, but are actually not very different than our Spanish language edition, which came out in 2016, that I believe you have available to you. So now I'll close by highlighting some of our findings. First of all, fracking is a public health crisis. We've documented in more than 120 studies that public health harms associated with drilling and fracking include cancer, asthma, respiratory diseases, skin rashes, heart problems, and mental health problems. We have multiple corroborating studies of pregnant women residing near fracking operations across the nation showing impairments to infant health, including birth defects, preterm, and birth weight. There are brand new studies out from Pennsylvania just this month showing that children have 7 times the risk of cancer, and they have excess asthma, and they're born smaller if they live near a fracking well. We see that old people have shorter lifespans and more heart problems if they live near fracking. We also know that regulations are not capable of preventing harm. There are no set of rules that can fix the problems that fracking creates. For example, we know that fracking cannot stop earthquakes. Fracking activities trigger earthquakes around the world, and in spite of emerging knowledge about the mechanics of how exactly fracking and the disposal of fracking waste underground trigger these earthquakes, there is no way to predict when or where the earthquakes will occur and how powerful they will be, and we cannot prevent earthquakes. Another thing we can't prevent is air pollution. Fracking is like a giant cigarette in the earth, and air pollution that's toxic and harmful to public health follows fracking wherever it goes. The state of California concluded that fracking air pollution is significant and unavoidable. It cannot be fixed. Fracking also cannot stop radiation. The underground earth is very radioactive, and when you blow it apart and shatter the shale to bring oil and gas out of it, the radioactive elements commonly found far underground are released during the process of drilling and fracking. They accumulate in tubes, pipes, and equipment. They cause health to workers, and they get inside the bodies of the people who live nearby. Finally, regulations cannot stop wells from leaking. Cement and steel, which line the wells, are not immortal substances. Sooner or later, fracking wells start to leak. Old wells and new wells both leak and place groundwater at risk. And again, there's no way to fix it. So to conclude, the rapidly expanding body of evidence shows us that across a wide range of parameters, there are problems that cannot be averted through regulatory frameworks. The harms of fracking are inherent to its operation. The only method of mitigating the grave risk to public health and the climate is a complete and comprehensive ban on fracking. Thank you.